Hey guys, this is Apple Gamer 24/7. I'm here to give you guys today a recap video of the Apple event that happened last Tuesday where Apple announced a whole bunch of new products. So I figured I'd give you guys a recap video and just give you guys what I think of all this new stuff. So let's get started. So the first thing I do want to talk about is the new 13-inch MacBook Pro with Retina display. This is pretty much confirmed before the event even started. There were some leaked pictures on the internet that happened, I think, 2 days before the event that actually confirmed a 13-inch MacBook Pro Retina display. But it was pretty cool to see live from Apple. They had some demos with it. Just to give you guys some specs on it, it's 20% thinner than the previous generation MacBook Pro Retina display, in case you guys are wondering about that. It weighs 3.57 pounds, which is good for traveling. It's a pound lighter than the 15-inch, which is good because if you want to travel, if you're doing filming or any photography and you have to go on planes or any other transportation, you don't want to look around a big 15-inch laptop. The 13-inch laptop will probably be much easier to travel with, and it still has a good amount of processing power behind it. It has USB 3 support. That's probably given because Apple is transitioning over from USB 2 to 3, so it's probably all of its products in the future, now they all do support USB 3.0, which supports better transfer speeds. Has 2 Thunderbolt ports, so you can hook up any Thunderbolt accessories such as a Thunderbolt display or a hard drive for any video or photography purposes. The resolution on the Retina display is 2560 by 1600 resolution. That's a crazy resolution. It definitely touts the Retina display. I believe it's the same resolution of the iPad 3. So if you know what an iPad 3 looks like, it's going to be the same resolution on the MacBook Pro 13-inch, which is a nice resolution and a very nice display to look at. It also has a HDMI port for hooking up to an HD TV in case you want to preview any video you've taken. If you're out in the field or doing anything like that, you can preview a video using a single HDMI cable. It has a 7-hour battery life, so you can get a full day's work out of it. You can worry about charging. Also supports the new MagSafe 2 connector on it as well, so you can use the MagSafe 2 adapter rather than the older MagSafe with the L-shaped connector. It also starts at $16.99, which is not a bad deal because the processor and the speed behind that you're going to get, this is pretty much a full desktop replacement, just in a smaller screen. But I do see this for people that are looking to do a lot of traveling, but they have to carry around a small laptop, or the 15 inches is too much for them. I think this is going to be a nice sweet spot for Apple, and I think it's going to eventually be taking out the legacy MacBook Pro that has the CD drive. They're still selling that one, I believe, in a 13-inch and a 15-inch configuration. Those didn't get updated, but this new Retina display, 13-inch, is really nice to see, and I think the Retina display will come across of all Apple's products down the future, going to the iMacs, and then pretty soon the LED cinema displays or now the Thunderbolt display. Another thing that was also updated that kind of surprised me a little bit was the Mac Mini. The Mac Mini also got updated. The only thing that the internet said that was updated with the Mac Mini was the hard drive, which you can either get a 1 terabyte hard drive or a solid state drive. Some Iron Bridge CPUs, and that was pretty much about it. To me, it's kind of a boring upgrade because I'm ready for a new design of a Mac Mini. The Mac Mini is getting kind of old now because the design is still the same. I want something new. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. But if you're looking at a pretty good sized Mac or a server, I know a lot of people use Mac Minis as a server. This $599 price tag is a pretty nice deal. I believe for an extra like $400, I believe you can upgrade that to a server and you can get some preloaded server applications on that. But I think you have to order it through the Apple online store. But anyway, the next thing that was also updated, which is very, very cool, is the iMac. The iMac finally got updated. We've been waiting for these for a while. I'm finally happy to see that they're updated. It has a very, very thin 5mm bezel, which is crazy thin. To me, when you look at it, it sort of blends in with your desk, or it's really thin to see. It looks like an HDTV, one of those really thin ones that sort of blend down on the wall. That kind of reminds me of what this is. It has the same screen sizes as we had before, the 21.5 inch and the 27 inch, which is not bad. I thought those were great screen sizes. I thought Apple might go back to a 24 inch display because the 21.5 inch is sort of small after a while. Like, I would like a bigger display without having to buy a Thunderbolt display, but I would like a 24 inch iMac to return because I thought that was a great screen size, and then you can upgrade to the 27 inch to get a little extra resolution. But anyway, they kept it with the 21.5 inch and the 27 inch models. They took the dual mics and the FaceTime HD camera over from the MacBook Pro around the display, so you can get some good video and audio when you're doing Skype calls or FaceTime, wherever the hell you do it. a FaceTime camera nowadays. It also has this new drive you can buy with it via the online store called the Apple Fusion Drive. And what this is that you can take a 256GB and up to 3TB of storage and sort of fuse it together. And what the OS does is sees it as a one single drive. So what you can do is that if say you the OS will put your Final Cut Pro X files and everything related to Final Cut Pro X, like the file and the program, on the solid state drive and load it off of the solid state drive. But say you don't use iMovie as much, what it would do is that the OS will put everything that's related to iMovie, all your projects, the iMovie app, on the spinning hard drive, and then when you go open iMovie for any other reason, it will load it off the spinning drive. So it's kind of, the OS kind of sees what programs you use on a daily basis and kind of picks out the programs you use most and puts it on the solid state drive, and then the ones you don't use at all on the traditional hard drive, which is good because the apps that you want to use a lot go on the solid state drive, and then the apps you don't use at all go on the hard drive, which I like a lot. And I believe some other Windows computers do it, but I think you have to configure it right, and if you configure it, it doesn't work as well. But I like how it's built into Mountain Lion, and it sort of takes care of all that configuring for you, which is pretty sweet. So I like it. So the prices for these iMacs is it's $12.99 for the 21.5-inch model, which ships in October, I believe, or November, or wherever time you're watching this. It's probably already out if you're watching this in December or January. And the 27-inch comes out in December for $17.99, which is not a bad deal. And you can also customize these on Apple Online to get better RAM, better CPU, and more hard drive space if needed, if the base models don't live up to your needs. There's a lot of iPad updates to this. Yes, the iPad Mini was announced. I'll talk about that last because it's probably the best thing that you guys want to hear more about. But what really surprised me the most is that Apple updated the full-size iPad. Now, it's not like a huge update. It's not an update that I would personally run out and go buy like the iPad 2 to 3 was. But it was a pretty useful upgrade for those people that want an iPad with a Retina display. The only updates I can see that don't relate to me at all is that it has an Apple A6X chip in it, which gives you better graphics and better CPU, which is nice. But to me, the A5X chip is still good enough for me and what I do. I mainly use my iPad for school and to watch Netflix and do other stuff like that. So the iPad 3 with the A5X chip is still fine. I'm really happy with it. I'm not looking to upgrade it. It also has expanded LTE support, so if you have an LTE iPad, which I don't, I just use my iPhone 5's LTE connection via the tethering hotspot, and I have LTE connection. But if you have an LTE iPad, it has expanded LTE connection, so not only in the States that you can get on AT&T and Verizon, but Sprint is finally getting on the LTE bandwagon if you have LTE in your area. Personally, I wouldn't get a Sprint iPad because it doesn't have any good LTE coverage where I am. There's barely any LTE coverage where I am with Sprint, but if you have Verizon or AT&T, it's okay. But getting on track, it has expanded LTE support, so more carriers are going to get the iPad overseas, and Sprint's going to get here in the US. And the Lightning connector has been updated, which is not a big deal for me. I'm still a big fan of the 30-pin connector. It really doesn't do anything. It really doesn't make a difference what connector I use. And to me, this is not really an upgrade that you would do if you had the third generation iPad. This is like a modern iPad. If you had the iPad 2 and you were waiting for this iPad to come, this is the iPad that you would now get. So now let's talk about the iPad Mini. This is the 7-inch tablet that Apple's been this has been rumored for at least a year or so after a lot of other companies release 7-inch tablets. But there's some key things that you need to know about this tablet is that you can hold it in your hand with one hand, so it's a one-hand operation. This is good for reading books or magazines, stuff like that. Pretty much what this tablet's going to be used for is books, magazines, the internet, and I wouldn't really consume any media on this, like big media. If I wasn't going to watch a movie on this, I would definitely use the full-size iPad to watch a movie, at least for me, but I think others out there would probably have different opinions. It has a 7.2 millimeter thin, so it's pretty thin, thinner than the 20% thinner than the full-size iPad. There you go. 50% lighter, so you can hold it in one hand without your arm getting tired. That's one of the problems I have with my iPad, is if I hold it for a long time with one hand. It used the A6 chip because it's newer and they want to migrate all their apps to the A6 chip. But now they're using the A5 chip in this. It's dual core, which is fine for me if you want to just use the web, check email, and just read magazines on it. The A5 chip is a perfectly good chip. But I was expecting Apple to use the A6 chip. Let's see here. Has a 5-megapixel camera on the back for taking pictures and 1080p video. The FaceTime HD camera, as always, for doing FaceTime HD camera shots. LTE, you can configure this in LTE with the expanded LTE coverage that I talked about, and ships next Friday for $329 for 16 gigs, which is perfectly good. I think this is going to be a good iPad for everybody. I think this is going to be the starting iPad, and then once people like this iPad, they might upgrade to the 9.7-inch version because you can get a lot more screen real estate and take advantage of the full iPad apps, even though Apple says that a small iPad can run all those full native iPad apps. But if you want the full experience, the true native iPad experience, I think you're going to get the 9.7-inch version after you try out the iPad mini. So personally, am I going to get the iPad mini? Yes, I will. I'm planning to get one, I would say, within the next month. I'm actually waiting for Apple to give me a gift card because, as you guys know, Apple issued a recall on some 1TB drives for the iMac. And as you guys know, over the summer, I got my 1TB drive replaced, and I actually called Apple, asked if they can work with me. They're being very nice, and they're actually looking into reimbursing me for my repair. I just had to send them the receipt, so I'm in the process of getting my money back, and I will take the money that I spent with the iMac repair and put towards an iPad mini. So I expect an iPad mini unboxing within a month. I just have to see how long Apple's going to take to get my claim through, and then I'll be making some more videos on the iPad mini. So anyway guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys later.